Hello everyone, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. It's Tuesday, September 5th. I am Batsirin Namshir. Our top stories for News Mongolia. Farewell ceremony for Pope Francis held on Monday. Pope Francis presented an official copy of a letter from Guyug Khan to President U.Khurelsukh. The chairman of the National Assembly of Laos, Saysomphone Phomvihane, will pay an official visit to Mongolia. For the news, stay tuned. Pope Francis wrapped up the first-ever papal visit to Mongolia on Monday. During his time in Mongolia, Pope Francis inaugurated a church-run homeless clinic and shelter, insisting that such initiatives aren't aimed at winning converts, but are simply exercises in Christian charity. The pontiff ministered to one of the world's smallest and newest Catholic communities, highlighting Mongolia's tradition of tolerance in a region where the Holy See's relations with neighboring China and Russia are often strained. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, Batsitseg, and other officials held a farewell ceremony for Pope Francis at Chinggishang International Airport. MNB reporter Arun Chimig Victor talked to Minister Batsitseg about the important aspects of the Pope's visit. Let's take a look at the following report.
Upon the invitation of the President of Mongolia, His Holiness Pope Francis has paid a 4-day official visit to Mongolia. Of course, the 4-day visit had a wide range of activities and events. The Vatican and Mongolia's relationship has a long history of 777 years, when Guyug Khan's invitation was delivered to Pope Innocent IV. We can proudly highlight that this visit is historic. It was the first ever visit of the Pope to Mongolia. This visit not only shares Mongolia's long history with the world, but also promotes Mongolia's multi-pillared, peaceful foreign policy. The people of Mongolia appreciate His Holiness' comments about Mongolia's preserving its customs and cultural heritage. The meeting with President U.Khurelsukh highlights the unity and peaceful coexistence of all religions for peace in the world. It was noted that Mongolia is a symbol of peace and freedom of religion. Pope Francis was accompanied by 150 media representatives from 23 countries. I hope this visit promoted the freedom of religion in Mongolia, not only to the international community, but also to the world's 1.5 billion Catholics. This event also proves that peaceful coexistence between people with different religious beliefs can greatly contribute to peace and unity in the world. The 31st anniversary of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and the Holy See is marked this year. Of course, every high-level diplomatic visit has an important role in boosting and expanding diplomatic ties between countries. His Holiness was accompanied by the Secretary for Relations with States and the Deputy Prime Minister, and high-level talks were conducted between our two sides. We had the chance to discuss future cooperation agreements. An official copy of Guyug Khan's letter was handed to the President of Mongolia. Later, the letter will be displayed at the Chinggishang Museum as a very important artifact. Around 3,500 foreign tourists and other visitors came to Mongolia to follow the Pope, so this visit also benefited the economy and Mongolia's tourism sector.
During his official visit to Mongolia, the head of the State of the Holy See, Pope Francis, presented an official copy of the letter from Guyug Khan of the Great Mongol Empire to President U.Khurelsukh. The original letter is kept in the Vatican Apostolic Archive. The official copy of the letter was made using advanced technology, meeting archival document standards.
In a public address, Pope Francis said that 777 years ago, at the end of August and beginning of September in 1246, the Pope's envoy, Friar John of Plano Carpini, visited Guyug Khan, the third Khan of the Great Mongol Empire, and handed over an official letter from the Pope Innocent IV. Soon after, the Great Khan sent a reply with a seal engraved in Mongolian script and included translations in many languages, which are now kept in the Vatican Apostolic Archive. Today, I am respectfully presenting an official copy of this letter as a gift, made in the highest quality with advanced technology. This gift should become a symbol of the ancient friendly relations that are now expanding, he said. It is believed that Guyug Khan's letter to the Pope had versions written in Mongolian, Persian, and Latin. In 1920, the Polish priest Cyril Koralewski found a Persian copy of the letter in the Vatican archives and gave it to the researcher who translated the letter's first translation. Later, the famous French Mongolist Paul Pelliot researched and translated the letter. He published the translation with the Persian original and commentary and put it into research circulation. Guyug Khan's letter was 1 meter 12 centimeters long and 20 centimeters wide. It was written in Persian on parchment paper. The letter, authenticated by 2 stamps of the seal of Guyug Khan of the Great Mongol Empire, in the middle of the paper and at the end. The letter is written evidence of 777-year history of relations between Mongolia and the Holy See, and a unique and valuable piece of Mongolian heritage.
Now let's take a look at current affairs of Mongolia.
On the invitation of the Speaker of Parliament of Mongolia, the Speaker of the National Assembly of the Laos People's Democratic Republic, Saysomphone Phomvihane, will pay an official visit to Mongolia from the 7th to 10th of this month. This visit is the first visit to Mongolia in 11 years at the level of the Chairman of the National Assembly of Laos, and it is unique in that it marks the beginning of the 60 years of relations and cooperation between Mongolia and the Laos People's Democratic Republic. In addition, it is important for Mongolia to continue to receive the support of Laos when it comes to a dialogue partner of Asian and joint regional processes such as APEC. As part of the visit, the Speaker of Parliament of Mongolia is planning to hold official talks with the Speaker of the National Assembly of Laos, while the President of Mongolia, U.Khurelsukh, is planning to receive and meet with the Speaker of the National Lao Assembly. During the meeting, it is planned to expand friendly relations and cooperation between Mongolia and Laos, including interparliamentary cooperation, to strengthen cooperation in the international arena and exchange views on international and regional issues of mutual interest. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations back in 1962, the two countries have mutually organized high-level state visits, have friendly relations, and have expanded and developed cooperation in many fields such as trade, economy, culture, and humanitarianism.
You're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at international news from our partner agencies. French President Emmanuel Macron opened the door Monday to experimenting in some public schools with uniforms or dress code amid debate in France over a ban in classrooms on long robes worn mainly by Muslims.
The ban on robes known as abayas for girls and women and hamis for boys and men went into effect on Monday. Macron said he is in favor of experimenting with uniforms in order to inform public debate. Speaking in a live interview on online media Hugo Decrypt, broadcasted on YouTube and TikTok, he said another experimental option could be for children to wear similar outfits, such as a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and a jacket. The centrist president's comments come after some conservative and far-right politicians have voiced support for requiring uniforms in public schools. Macron provided no detail about the start and location of the experiment. Some private schools already require students to wear uniforms. Macron reaffirmed that authorities would be intractable in enforcing the new rule about long robes in public schools, which were seen as a challenge to France's secularist values.
En France, l'école, elle est...
In France, school is free, secular and mandatory. What does secular mean? It means that for our children, we don't want to know where they come from, what they think, from what type of family they are coming from. It's an element of justice because we are training Republicans and citizens. And so from kindergarten to baccalaureate, school is secular, and that means there's no room for religious signs.
L'école est laïque, et ça veut dire qu'il n'y a pas la place pour les signes religieux.
The new rule has prompted criticism across the country, with some arguing that the loose body-covering garments didn't constitute an ostentatious display of religion and should not be banned from classrooms. The framework for the ban is 2004 law aimed at preserving secularism in French public schools. The law prohibits Muslim headscarves but also bans large Christian crosses, Jewish kippas and the large turbans worn by Sikhs. It passed after months of furor and marathon parliamentary debates. Some Muslims claimed it stigmatized them. The law doesn't apply to university students.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you on Wednesday with more news and updates. Goodbye.